I want to know how Generation Stuck has come to be, so I'm heading to Maynooth to meet who I like to think of as the Paul Mescal of housing. Author, lecturer in social policy and long-time Twitter mutual, Rory Hearne. If anyone can enlighten me, it's surely him.
How bad is it? 75% of 20 to 29-year-olds are still living at home. When you compare that with the likes of Denmark, just 12% of their 20 to 29-year-olds are living at home. So clearly, we have essentially doubled the amount of young people who are living at home in the last 10 years, and the amount renting has significantly increased. So we have now this generation stuck, generation locked out of being able to own their own home, get secure social housing, and it is an entire generation, really.
Is there any kind of psychological or social effects that the rental crisis has caused?
It's having a very real psychological impact on people. You know, someone who's in their late 20s, even early 30s, still living at home in their, childhood bedroom, most of them felt they would not be treated like an adult by their parents until they left home. And then you have renters stressed out trying to save for a deposit, trying to cover the rent, or the landlord is evicting us. And they have to move back into a family home.
And it's the assumption that, if you go back to your family home, you have a good relationship with your parents, particularly like sitcoms and stuff like that. Saying that somebody lives in their mother's basement is like an insult, and it's a failure, and it's always been framed as that. But now it's a case where if your parents could give you a whole extra floor, I mean, you're doing pretty well for yourself.
I think that we're still not realising, as a country, what the hell is going on in terms of the amount of people who are affected in so many different ways by what is a housing crisis, but it's a social catastrophe.
When you describe generation locked out, could you give me an example?
Property prices have risen well over 120% since 2013. Well over 100,000 children in Ireland are growing up in the private rental sector, which is completely insecure. So they're telling me our landlord is selling. And where are we going to go? Our children are in the school. We can't find anywhere now. There's literally nowhere to rent. So we have to move back home.
Am I going to be 40 before I'm able to buy a home?
I hope not. I hope that you can get a home. We need to change the whole housing system on its head. The housing system should be about people having a home, right? And ultimately, I do think it comes back to the government saying, right, we need to guarantee a supply of housing. So that means setting up a state construction company. It means using modular housing to build, expand rapidly. It means using our land. I am hopeful that your generation will not accept this. That's what I'm hopeful about. And your generation brought and drove huge social change around marriage equality, around repeal, and I think it's going to happen around housing.
No pressure then, Rory.